Hi guys, welcome back to the Darkness Unveils. Tonight I have Paul and Ben from Mystic Paranormal UK. Hi guys, how are you?
I'm not too
Really
bad.
good.
Yourself?
Boiling.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Like I say, we were chatting. It's warm. It's very warm.
It is warm.
We're okay.
I'm locked in my front room at the moment. The missus has gone to bed and it's just sweltering in here.
Oh, dear. Wait, say we've just had. Well, we're up at mum and dad's because we've had 9 puppies. So
Right.
it's just like you can't hear yourself think. So we thought we'll come up here and hopefully be quieter up this way. So
Out of interest, what dogs are they?
cockapoos.
Oh, right, nice.
Sorry, jackapoos. Sorry.
Oh, Jackapoos.
Jackapoos. Yeah.
So, just tell me a little bit about you two, your paranormal, how you got into the paranormal and how it all started for you.
Yeah, sure. You going to start, Ben?
You start.
I'll
You
start
get it
it.
going. Go
Right, for myself, I started around 22, 23 years ago now. We watched a lot of Most Haunted back then when it first came out. Then we got together with some friends. Went on a. It was like a public ghost hunt at a place called Plesley Mills near us. It's like cotton mills. Really enjoyed it, and we thought, something, we could get into this. We could try and, go out hunting ghosts. This is for Facebook and all this YouTube and everything like that. So we bought. I think all we had was a Sony and camera with night vision on it, and we had a crystal, a medium in the group, and an EVP recorder. That's what we started out with, and we was lucky enough to actually get asked to run every last Friday of the month at Plesley Mills to actually take the tours round.
Oh, nice.
But we, like I said, we did private house investigations, and we just went out and investigated. We loved it, really did. That's how I got into it. I've always believed in the paranormal from a young age. My granddad used to tell me ghost stories where he worked. He worked at a shoe factory. And I was just fascinated, scared at times, but fascinated. And it's something now that I'm just so interested. I'm interested in all aspects of paranormal. Ben will cringe in a minute. I'm into like UFOs, Bigfoots, flat earth theory, conspiracies. I'm into all that kind of stuff as well. Yeah. Ben's not into that kind of stuff. But like I say, and with in COVID, weren't it? Just after COVID.
Yeah, 2021.
We decided to set a team up. Myself and Ben, to just go live on Facebook for family, really, because like my mum and dad couldn't get out, and get us something to look at and a laugh and that, and we went out and we started getting tiny little things. It just grew from there. It's been a journey like that. It's been ups and downs like everything else. But that's my side of the story. So over to you, Ben, now.
Right. Well, I used to, when I was obviously really small, I used to remember when I used to go out a lot because my granddad had a babysitter. I'm going, where are you going? We're going out. I'm like, where are you going? Can't tell you. It's secret. So I'm thinking. And then obviously over the years and growing up and things, I'd catch you watching like Most Haunted and all them sort of TV shows. I'd be like, what are you watching? And they'd quickly turn it off. You're too young to be watching this. I'm thinking, But eventually I did start watching it. I used to like it. And I used to like watching Taps. He had a Taps Most Haunted.
Yeah.
Tap Ghost Hunters, sorry. It was like that
was your favourite program.
I preferred that over Most Haunted. I don't know why.
Mm.
But no, I've always believed in ghosts and things. I didn't really obviously I was only young at the time, so I couldn't really go on any investigations or join any groups. But there was one particular time where you saw something, which we'll probably get into later on in the house. We were playing on, I think it was PlayStation or something.
Yeah.
And you saw something.
Yeah.
And ever since that night, I've lost sleep. I've been petrified of this. And not long after then, probably a year or so, maybe, I remember I'd gone into your bedroom to get a DVD. I must have been about 8 or quite young. And I saw a cat from the corner of my eye run towards my bedroom door, and our bedroom door and your bedroom door is literally next to each other. It's in like a triangle sort of shape, and it ran, and I thought, a cat's just gone into our bedroom.
Yeah,
and we'd not even got a cat, and it like a cat had gone in my bedroom. So I've gone, what's the cat doing there? So I've sort of gone to have a look, but my bedroom door's shut, and the speed it ran, it would have gone straight into the door. There were no bang, there were nothing. It just went straight in, and ever since then, I've been interested in ghosts, and obviously, eventually, I'd start asking you like, what a ghost, and you'd be like, "Oh, don't say anything, don't tell anybody,
Yeah.
do not ask out for anything because it's dangerous."
You see, back then, I think it was very.
You warned me a lot about
it. Was very. It's more. I think it's more open now than what it was back then.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Back years
like
ago,
we could perhaps get into
people
that.
found it weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't go on to a proper ghost hunt till during lockdown, roughly. It was in them stages where you could go out with certain groups
For an hour.
for an hour and then come back in again. I went out with this random group who were from, I can't remember what they called, but they were local. I don't know if they're still going on or not. And we went to this location, Annesley Hall, the church, the old church part, which is literally just about 10 minutes up the road from where we are now. And ever since that first sort of ghost, I'd never been on one before, and I really enjoyed it. I thought, oh, do you know something? I'd like to do this again, but I never went out with them again. And then obviously early 2020, end of March, beginning of April, we were thinking, oh, should we do something? And you're thinking, you were like, yeah, of course, yeah. Well, what should we do? So let's do ghost hunting. And eventually we thought, yeah, let's go and do it. And our first investigation, we're about half an hour long.
They're half an hour, and we crapped ourselves. Literally went to that local woods, and we were scared. We hadn't got a clue. I mean, what we're doing. I mean, obviously, I've done it before. Ben hadn't done nothing before, and I've got no equipment as such. We've got a crystal on that because I sold all my equipment.
And we've got I bought a few years previous, I bought a little K2 EMF meter. And we've got that and a little speaker.
And a little app.
And a little
that rate.
And that rate.
But yeah, that's it. That's how we got into it. Basically.
In a nutshell. Yeah.
That, mate. I think everybody's the same. Like going back to the part there, Paul, where you said about the family. That's how we got into it ourselves. We never really believed in it. We were skeptics over 10, 11 years ago now. And we just went along for a Christmas present. And that's what got us into it. But it is, like you said, the paranormal is very intriguing. And I suppose I'm a bit the same as you, Ben, on the idea of different things out there. Not so much the flat earth. I do believe that is round. But in the two...
Yes, I like he believes in it.
I like the idea. I think
like the theories behind it. Yeah. And I think it's fascinating. You know, like me, I even though I don't do so much as cryptics, which I'm looking into, I've always enjoyed watching like the Bigfoot shows. I've always watched them. I just find them intriguing because if somebody did witness it for real, proper evidence got put out there, it would be fascinating to see that we still have that coexist to this day. Anyway, going back to you guys now, obviously where you've had these experiences, and I know you've went out your friend, but what was it that actually made you think, right, there is something that I actually believe could be out there, or you witnessed something? What was that experience for you guys?
You want me to go first? Or you go first?
I could probably answer this one. Just come to mind. We was at Barnsley at a place called Unveiled Woods, which is known locally for us, Witches Woods.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of things go off in there, all kinds of different weird things. And we was there, and we must have been there for about 40 minutes, probably.
Yeah.
We'd heard an horse galloping, but there was no horse. And it's quite a thick woodland. We'd heard all sorts of weird shit, like strange sounds and things. And I think we saw lights as well, didn't we?
There were lights as well.
But the thing that got us, now this is the complete unexpected thing. We were thinking, right, if there's anybody there, come, just let us know you're there. Come on, do something. Let us know that you're there. And there was the most blood-curdling screech from in the trees.
It was high up, low down, yeah.
It was a woman, 1,000% a woman. It just went, it's a screech.
It was the loudest screech you could hear.
And then there was like a momentary silence.
Yeah.
And then you literally went, come on,
we're going. We've heard about this. We've heard from people who investigate it's been this. You need to go there because you do it. We go there all the time, and now it fascinates us. It really does fascinate. It's a right place. It's really good. If you ever get the chance, it's at Unveiled up at Barnsley. Pay to visit. You will not regret it. It's a great place.
It's massive.
Yeah.
I think with woods as well, it gives you that atmospheric feeling as well, doesn't it? Especially at night, it's dark. You almost feel that more vulnerable as well. So anything like that I think that would make you be a bit nervous.
Could it be a fox, or could it be? But it was. We live in rural area where we are. We live farmland and that. We hear fox all the time.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't a fox at all. But it was so high, weren't it? I
It
couldn't believe the height
so
it
loud
came from.
as well. Yeah, it was very high up.
It was so weird. That's one of the best things we've.
But then again, before that though,
Yeah.
I mean, that was as a group.
Yeah.
Before we started the group, literally weeks before we started our group, we used to go out with another team, didn't we?
Yeah,
Just to get
yeah.
a feel of things.
Yeah.
And we were literally
2
minutes. 2 minutes from our house is a big woodland, which used to be a coal mine, and the woodland is the tip. So after they'd sort of closed it, they planted this little woodland, and it's grown, and it was in there. And allegedly, I don't know what words I'm allowed to use and what I'm not allowed to use here.
1960s.
In the
somebody
1960s,
died. Somebody died.
a
lady died in 1960s.
A lady died in a very certain way.
Yeah.
And there's been rumours of ghosts, and there's a woman being seen, and allegedly as well on this lane, there's been a little girl seen on a tricycle, which sounds comical, and it sounds something you'd see in a horror film. But she's been seen a lot on this lane. But it was a rainy night. It was freezing cold.
It was so late.
It was February. It must have been about 11:30, 12, and it was hammering down with rain. And we stood there with laser grid pen, shivering.
There were 3 of us, weren't there?
And we were facing the thickest part of this woodland. And I can't remember what question we asked, but it was a similar sound, but it was more human.
Yeah.
And it was
right next to you.
It was a woman screaming, basically, like top of her lungs.
Yeah. And Pat, who we went out with, she's been doing it longer than what we, and she was even like, everybody just stopped, like, wow, and we just heard that. A lot of audio. We've had a lot of audio stuff. But we like to say we do try and debunk as much as we can.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when we first started, like ourselves, everything was paranormal. But I think as you go along, you do learn to debunk stuff and think, hold on a minute, get your rational head on. Hold on a minute, could it be that? Could it be that? And I think that's an important bit of the paranormal.
It is. You've got as well. If you hear something, you've got to tick the rational boxes first. I mean, you know, when something happens, you get excited and you're thinking, but you just have to calm down and just think, right, what could it be first?
Yeah.
If there's a bang, right, is there something loose in the house? Oh, there's a breeze. Is the window open? You know, the typical things. When you've crossed all them boxes, what else could it be?
Yeah. Still could be something you can explain.
It could be something explainable. It could be 1,000%.
But I'm the most excitable in group. I don't know if you've ever seen an LRs. I can go. I'm like a big kid. I'm oldest in group. I'm 50. I'm like a big kid. I'm like, I get so excited. So just calm down
a bit. Just let's think what it could be.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm exactly the same. Like when we used to do public nights, I always used to love it for people themselves to witness what we've witnessed previously or like before, and we tend to go back to certain buildings to try and build on evidence. And some nights, you can have nothing, and it can happen for a while, and then when you go back there and something happens, I am like a kid. I'm like, yes, I'm like, come on, it's, and then it'll die down, and I get a bit like depressed about it, but it's like I just then take a step back and just think to myself, well, we've had little bits, and I think some people forget that them little bits can be fascinating and fantastic. Previously we've been to locations where we've been now probably about 6-7 times, and it's been quiet, nothing's happened. Previously, before that, everything used to happen. We went back the other month, and we had the littlest things, but it was the case of like a door rattling the handle, nobody there. We heard a little girl laugh, like giggle, and like knocks and up. That was the only thing that happened, but it was like, yes, we can feel the energy building again in the house. But no, I totally agree with you. Like a child, I'm like that, Paul. I get well excited, and I do have to calm. But my wife's the same because she's the partner with me. My wife's the same, and Katie, who's on our team, they're the same. Like, Charlie, just calm down a minute, just calm down. Yeah. But I don't. I get excited. But for me, I love it when people witness it, because I've witnessed so much stuff over the years. I'd love to see new people, skeptics, see something that they can't explain, and for me, that gives me a sense of a buzz. So. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one, Paul.
Two skeptics out with my mate Jimmy went out with us a few times. He was complete. He's a big strapping 6'5" like that. We took him out. Well, he's been out twice with. He's got. So with paranormal, you get hooked on it, don't you? When you've done it, you get hooked, and you got. He's been out with a few times, but the first time we went out with Courts EVPs, he couldn't believe it, could he?
No.
He was like, "Oh, Rex, I can't believe it," and he now believes in it. And Luke, who's joined our team, he's a complete skeptic as well. But now he's seen things, heard things, and felt things that he didn't think were possible. And now he's changing as well. But he's still skeptic. But I think it's good to have that somebody who's got a bit of a level head, a bit of skeptic in them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, everybody can get carried away. It's like, oh, just let's take a step. Is it this? Is it that? But it's changing. And when you, like you say, when you take them out, it changes people's minds. I've had my mind changed with paranormal. I mean, now, like 20 years ago, like I said, everything was paranormal, and this goes everywhere. But now I've coming down a bit, believe it or not. I think there's other reasons for paranormal activity. You know what I mean? So I'm sort of where I was like 90%. I'm more like 65. I'm going on like a decline, if you like, if you put it that way, really. But I think there's different explanations for activity. Yeah. There's definitely some. I've seen 2 apparitions. I can't explain them. We've had glasses thrown at us. A coin at number 10. We've got a run of a place we look at called Number 10 Coffee Shop at Chesterfield, and my wife works there. Adrian, who's in the group as well, he's the owner. So we've got the run of that place, and it's like from 1800s.
Probably a little bit older as well.
And you would say, well, we have paranormal activity here. We have tables moving, we have salt and pepper pots moving. We have that. Oh wow! And we're in, and we go there many a night, and we've had glasses thrown at us, coins. The coin was actually on that was years ago, about 3 years ago. That was actually on a live.
Nearly 4 years ago now, yeah.
And it come from behind his heads. We were up against the wall, and it come from behind his head. We wondered what it were first, didn't we? Like a bang. And it were like it stuck in like a plasterboard wall. It went that, and the coin was red hot.
Coming for
2 pence. It were 2 pence. Yeah, 2 pence piece. So we have witnessed things.
Yeah.
Like I say, Ben's a big believer in stone tape theory.
Yeah.
Well, that was my next question. Like, well, what do you? What's your theory on the stone tape theory? You know, I've witnessed some stuff in the past, but I want to see like what your guys' theory is on it.
See, I got introduced to the stone tape theory by Richard Felix from Most Haunted. I'm a huge fan of Richard Felix. I've got all his books, everything. And he used to tell a story from York about a bloke called Harry Martindale. Have you heard about it before?
No.
From 1953. And he was an 18-year-old plumber, an apprentice plumber. And he was in this house in York called Treasurer's House. It's a big sort of old house. And he was in the basement working on the plumbing. And he were working and he heard like a horn, like a really out of tune, like sound. He's thinking, somebody's got like a really loud wireless radio on upstairs. So he carried on working and it was getting louder and it sounded like it went like through the wall. And he's thinking, what is that? And he's on a ladder. So it's a little bit higher than where he was, is. And he says, and he just sort of glanced down briefly to sort of step off like down the ladder. And he saw something go past him and it made him jump and he fell off the ladder. And he sort of had a look. And no, honestly, genuinely, he counted them all, 20 Roman soldiers going through this wall and marching toward the other end of the cellar. So it's only a small cell, it's really low. And he could only see them from the knees up. And he thought, they're really small, these. And obviously, as he was sort of looking, he could only see the knees. And he saw a horse. There were soldiers on the horse. The horse was dragging like a thing behind it, and there was a soldier lay down on that, probably asleep. He says he didn't know if they were asleep or dead. He says, and they were clear as crystal. He says he could just only see them from the knees up. So he's thinking, this is really like odd. And he's thinking, well, I can see them. They can probably see me. So he stayed really quiet. He hunched into the corner, and he says, and he counted 20 of them, and he described the clothing, what they were wearing, absolutely everything. And he actually ended up having 2 weeks off work due to like shock, because it shocked him that much. And he says, I'm not going back in there again. And he saw the owner of the plumbing company who worked at the Treasurer's House. And he says, blooming heck. He says, looking by you, you've seen them Roman soldiers. He's like, why on earth did you not tell me? And it turns out loads of people over the years have seen them, and they've been seen since. And nobody believed him, nothing like that. And eventually he got credibility for what he'd seen, judging by the clothes they were wearing. And it weren't like a typical Roman I can't remember the specific branch of these soldiers, but it was a very specific branch, which are in history books, but they're not as well known as a typical looking Roman soldier.
Yeah.
And he described everything they're wearing, the swords, the hats, the clothing, like the leather they were wearing, absolutely everything. And eventually it led to an archaeological dig in the cellar, and 15 inches below where the cellar level were, they found a Roman road. And it turned out to be one of the main Roman roads, which led from, well, through England, up through York, and all the way up to Scotland, where Hadrian's Wall. And they were walking on that. That's why you can only see them from the knees up, because they were on that floor walking, but you can only see them up.
Because the level of the road was lower than what the cellar floor was.
Yeah.
That's madness, isn't it?
So there's a documentary on YouTube about him as well. It's a cracking.
Because with nobody believing him, he refused to tell people. But eventually he did, and more people started believing him. And then this is where the stone tape theory sort of investigation sort of comes in. Now they reckon in stone, it's very strong in sandstone. There's a do you know a lot about stone tape theory?
Not a lot. I haven't really gone into depth. We have, like, you know, big teams that have said practice and showed us ways of like how they would tend to like try and connect with buildings and stuff, etc.
Yeah.
But however, I believe I've witnessed something similar with soldiers, but this was on a piece of land. It wasn't in a building. It was in Chester. And where the Chester Wall is, if you look over, there was a battlefield between the parliamentarians, and we went there just to do a little investigation, and we were doing the Estes method. And no word of a lie, I saw a row of soldiers, but one in particular stuck out to me, which was like a young boy with blonde hair, but he looked like he was about 15, and he looked like he was about to cry. But like back in them days, it would have been anybody, but he looked so young. It got me emotional, but I was blindfolded and everything. And then I just had this picture, this image. But when I took the eye mask off, it was actually the same layout as the land, and like a little hill at the top of it. Yeah. And that's where I saw all of them standing there as if they were ready for battle, which was madness to me. Like it was the first time I ever witnessed it, but I got quite emotional from it. Because I've got kids myself, so to me it felt like, you know, that kid was really scared, and like, you know, you just wanted to protect them. But no, that's like kind of my intake of what I've witnessed in that terms. But I've never really dealt into the, you know, the stone tape theory in depth, if you like.
It's interesting because I think obviously with the substance that's in, you can get it in the ground, but obviously it's in sandstone called silica. And it's basically, you get it in memory chips, like on your computers and things. It records. That's basically what it is. And there's traces of it in your brain, but I'll get into that. It sort of helps memory and stuff. But they reckon that whenever there's a tragic death of all various sort of kinds, the energy that your body radiates during that time from going from life to death, obviously you trying to resist it, is immense. So where does the energy go that comes from? It's got to go somewhere. And they reckon it exists that soaks it up. And on the anniversary of that death, so obviously battles are a good, like what you've just said, are a very good example. Murders as well. I don't know if I should have said that, but I have done anything like that. Anything that's really emotional, that's going to trigger a lot of energy, a year or just an anniversary of that happening, it can do a replay. So people we could be walking down road, and we'd see
something go off.
We could see two Vikings run across the road. We're thinking, blooming out, what was that? And there was just two Vikings running down, like literally through the high street, and go through a wall. And then we'll be like, what is that all about? And do a little bit of research. There could have been a Viking battle there.
Yeah. It's almost like the way you describe that, and it's almost like what we would call like a residual energy that just goes on its day to day, same like rotating over and over and over again, doing the same thing. But no, it is fascinating. It does fascinate me, you know, the amount of energy in buildings that you get from there. I know in certain places that I've been, again in Chester, there's a lot of history of hauntings, especially in Chester Stanley Palace. I don't know if you've ever been there or heard of it. So there is typically known as the spirit of James Stanley, 7th Earl of Derby, and he was captured by Oliver Cromwell's men, but it was actually his servant who betrayed him and received coin to obviously get him captured. And there's a tunnel underneath the building where the Black Friary used to be, which used to leave out to the docks. So we used to when we used to investigate there, we used to call out and say, James, you're a great man, and etc., and try and big him up. And then you would hear there's no stairs where the old stairs used to be, is where the tunnel used to be. They're not there no more. The layout's different, but you'd hear as if somebody's walking down spiral stairs, and then you'd knock on this little hatchway underneath that's covered, it's hollow, where the tunnel used to be, and you'd hear it echo, and then you'd have like a knock back, which was like, it's just fascinating to me. But there's been some good stuff captured there. If you ever get the chance to go there, honest to God, it takes its time to build, but it's one of those places that if you big him up, call him a great man, and etc., you'll hear like specific footsteps, loud bangs across the gallery upstairs, and you'll hear him. Can I hear your footstep, James? Whisper to him, and you'll get it. Like, it's honestly, it's a fantastic place.
It's just patience, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
With paranormal investigating, it's like we had this conversation all the time, quite honest, don't we? Yeah. We used to go live on Facebook a lot, but now we don't. We tend to do we do go live on YouTube, but we tend to pre-record now.
Yeah.
Because Ben does all editing for us. Because if you're only there an hour, you're willing something to happen in that hour, aren't you? Because people's watching, and it's like, oh, but it's good. It could take 4, 5 hours.
Easy.
So that's the reason we do pre-records now, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, I enjoy them.
You enjoy it, don't you? But it's. I think nowadays with paranormal, it's very rush as well with some people. It's very
definitely.
It's got to happen. It's got and we're lucky with people that we're not a massive group at all. But the little followers we've got who watch all the time, they understand, and they not. But nothing happens. We've been out last 5 times, 6 times.
Barely had a thing.
Peep, and they like that. They like that. But I do understand where people, when they watch like Most Haunted and they watch, these other big TV things that happens all the time, and I can understand where people come from. That they want to be entertained, don't they? They want to, experience it all the time. Like it doesn't happen like that.
No, so, definitely. We used to film for hours and hours, and you'd probably get about a 30-minute video clip out of evidence you've actually cut, and you could be there for 6-7 hours. And like you said, sometimes it doesn't happen. Unfortunately, that's the way the paranormal goes. But that's what gets me, the people that don't understand that see these groups that are, I don't like to say the word, but potentially faking evidence. You get the people that follow them that think it happens all the time. And then when you show a video that you're not getting, you haven't got anything, you're not a proper paranormal teamer. No, this is proper paranormal. It doesn't happen all the time. You're not going to get it 100% of the time. So
I've seen a great, I don't know if you watch Beardo on YouTube. You see Beardo?
Yeah, I've watched Beardo, yeah.
Have you seen his latest video?
Which one?
It's the one where it's on about these like certain teams where this is why the paranormal's people's like not losing the interest in it, but because of these teams that are getting everything, and they, like you say, they're faking, and that's what people expect, and people are just getting like, it's just like fed up with it. And then there's genuine people that go out and don't get nothing, and they, just like everything's just being underlooked. There was one streamer, I can't think of his name now. And he says, for a change, you're going to look at a small group that just paranormal investigates, hardly gets anything. And he watched it, and he says, then I said, well, I can't do nothing with it. I said, well, and he didn't even name them. And even though they was doing it properly, well, I'll say properly, they were paranormal investigator not getting stuff. He didn't even name them. Now, I'd be pushing that. Watch this team. They're fantastic. They have a really good go at it. They don't always catch anything. But I think that's the way social media is now.
Yeah, that's a perception of people. Yeah,
it is. I mean, I don't know if you do TikTok. I don't do TikTok. We've got a TikTok page. I put posts and we don't go live, but I do watch a lot on TikTok, and it is all followers, money. Look at
yeah,
everything. It's like which is nothing wrong with that. Like I say, people will watch and interact with what they want to interact and watch. You can't force people, not to do that.
it's the ones that get me with the fake bait.
Yeah, well, it's true. But I say, but if we're honest to yourselves, we can finish an investigation. Go, something. Be completely honest there. That's what it's about. And yeah, we make mistakes. We've got this bit of evidence, and we looked at like, that weren't really evidence for it. It were, what I mean, everybody makes mistakes, don't they?
We were at the factory, weren't we? And I took a picture on me.
This is a good
big camera, and it looked like against this wall there was like a figure,
a shadow.
And we were like, "There's somebody stood there," and we were really looking at it. And I'm thinking,
it was someone on the live who spotted it, weren't it?
And somebody else saw it on the live. I thought, I've got to go back to the factory and get that looked at because there was something niggling me saying, "Don't get excited, it's got to be there." So we ended up going back,
same time of night,
same position, took the same picture, and you could see it again. So I thought, right, what is it? It turns out it was literally just the way.
There was a gap in the wall.
It was a gap in the wall. And the way the camera flashed, it made it look more like a figure.
Yeah.
When you moved the light, it shone through the gap and moved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, that wasn't the person who spotted it faking it. They obviously thought, "Oh, I've seen that." You know what I mean? We've seen something.
It really did look like somebody.
Yeah. It did. Honestly, I looked at it, I thought, "Wow." You know what I mean? We've actually caught something. But Ben, that's he's level-headed. No, we haven't. I think it's else. And then my heart sinks. But that's the way it is, isn't it? It's
Yeah. Okay, so if there's anywhere in the world that you could investigate, travel and go, where would it be?
Dear me. Don't I go first?
You go first. I'm still thinking.
There's a lot. There's a lot of places I'd love to go to just to prove. I'm trying to think. I'd probably want to go, and I know there's been a lot of controversy about it at the moment. Is the Country House?
Yeah,
I think it's been shut down at the moment, hasn't it? I'm not sure, but I'd like to go there just to see if it is really haunted as it is. And another place I'd like to go. Sorry, there's two places. It's 30 East Drive. I've never been over, and mixed stories. Yeah, that much about it. It is haunted. It's not haunted. It's only when certain people's there. But I'd like to go and just experience that. I think that's my main ones. But apart from like asylums in America that you can go in and stuff like that. But that's my main one. What about you, Ben?
For me, I mean, I'm a big history person. I love history. I love British history in particular. Obviously, I'd keep it in Britain. We've had lots of history over the years, and I'd obviously base it on stone tape theory. I'd like to investigate old battlefields like Battle of Bosworth Field with Richard III, all these sort of different battles, and see if you can get anything from the past. That is a simple answer to that, but I'm a big history person. I believe in the stone tape theory, but I'd like to go around England and investigate old battle sites and see.
Yeah. That's what I always say to people. You got to remember, before we had all these buildings, etc., it was all farmlands, homesteads, and when people sadly passed away or etc., they would have been buried within the land. So the land there, it's got to be, I say to people, you could walk down the road and for all 10 yards in front of you, there could be a spirit there. You know what I mean? You don't know. Going back to 30 East Drive, I've been to 30 East Drive and I was never a big fan of it. Never. I always thought it was this massive hype, etc. And I was absolutely shocked, to be fair. Never experienced much, but what I did capture was an EVP. And I asked if the male presence there that everybody says is negative, if he was there, and I got a woman respond back saying he's here. But that's all I had. But when we slept there, my wife slept on the sofa, I slept on the chair, and my wife woke up screaming that she heard a man whisper in her ear. And there was another girl upstairs who had the same happen to her at the same time. Wow. But I've always been very skeptical of 30 East Drive because you always hear these stories.
You do.
But if you do ever go, go with a small group.
They're probably about like me and Ben. They're probably about me, Ben. Probably about 4 of us anyway. That'll go anyway.
That'd be absolutely perfect because obviously the noise conflicts as well. But I think when it's a smaller group, you tend to get more there. But yeah, like I said, I haven't witnessed loads, but I have witnessed little bits there, which surprised me because I thought I was going open-minded, and I thought, well, nothing's going to happen. You know, it's a massive hype. But to be fair, it was an all right night. So.
I think if you go like that with no expectations, sometimes you get we've gone out. So we'll go out town where we're going. We'll just do a random like we'll just go here. You know, like then it ends up being a good night. You know what I mean? Rather than we plan.
Sometimes we'll plan to go somewhere. We'll be on the way there. Then we'll go. Why don't we go here and say, you know, we'll go here instead, and then we'll go to this different place that we've just randomly thought of, and you'll get all sorts.
Yeah. So we just came back from Pendle. Went to Pendle not last week, the week before. Went up to Pendle. Yeah. We like going up to Pendle up every year. We didn't get nothing at all, did we?
Not a peep.
Not a peep, but it was great. We loved it. Loved the day. Ben did like a history video to it. We loved the day, but we didn't get nothing. Went all that way, planned it, and we didn't get a peep anywhere. But then we could just go, I know, we'll go in EVP, we'll go at local woods to some EVPs, and then you'll catch something. It's just like that, isn't it?
We could be sat talking now and something could happen in here.
You don't know, do you?
You just don't know.
That's mad, isn't it?
It's mad. I like the paranormal.
You can tell by the way you two guys are talking that you are passionate about the paranormal. I think that's nice to see because these days I think some paranormal teams or investigators jump on it, like you said, for the bandwagon, but it's an easy niche as well.
We did like a chat show, and I did a live on this because I was off work for 2 weeks. And I don't normally watch other teams. I'll flick through odd one, but I'm not like because, like I say, everybody's got live sides of paranormal. Yeah, so I just one TikTok stuff like that, and I think, wow, the amount of teams and it's good. There's good that there's new teams coming into the paranormal. But when you see some of these teams, you think the younger ones that's coming in, the young ones that have no experience. But they're seeing this on TikTok, and they're going to be copying it. And I think this is what's wrong with the paranormal at the moment. Yeah. I think Ben's quite lucky how he's gone because our old ways how I did it, and I think he came in at that time where now it's all apps and like I say, anybody. I mean, we don't use apps now. We've completely.
I prefer old school,
but. That's everybody to them with apps, isn't it? This is what I'm saying. It don't mean if you use an app, it don't mean you're faking and you can't paranormal.
No,
by no means. But some of these teams you watch, you think, wow, if I had a young like me, I weren't doing it, but Ben was going into it now, I'd be going, look, don't look at that. Don't do it like that. Go and do it your own way. How you feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I say, it's an easy thing to get into now, make some money. It is. Get on TikTok, set some cat balls up, and then just go with flow and run and scream about. And it's easy way, isn't it? People like that.
It is. Yeah, people are like that.
I like watching videos.
To be fair, it puts a shame to the paranormal field when people are like that and they're gaining money from exposing this fakeness to people, and people are vulnerable, don't understand, they'll pay gifts or whatever, and people are making the money from somebody that quite frankly doesn't know what they're doing. They're just doing it just to make money. So obviously going back to the equipment, don't worry, I won't keep you for too long.
That's fine, absolutely fine.
Just going on to like equipment then, so like you said, you like old school tech. What is like the best piece of equipment that you use old wise? Now, for me, I love a good EVP. Audio's my thing.
That's mine.
That's definitely
EVP. Awesome. Definitely mine. Definitely an EVP. It's easy. You can even use your phone if you have. You can even use your phone on a voice recorder. That's my favourite bit of kit. And we've done all investigations just for EVP, nothing else. So that's my favourite bit. That's something I could never get rid of, is it, the EVP. But I do think there's places where you can't use it, noise, contamination. But we use it 98% of the time. 98% of the time where we go out. So, over to you.
For me, it's even simpler. I think just using yourself. I think everybody's got the ability to at least. I mean, obviously, not everybody's incredibly tuned in and mediumistic and things, but I do think everybody's got the sense to sense things, and I think just use your ears, use your eyes, just be really focused on where you are and just listen out for things. So I think honestly, the best piece of equipment I say
you've always said it.
The best piece of equipment you can have in a group is yourself.
Yeah.
That's just me. I know that's
what you
quite
get
boring,
people saying then is you can say, "Oh, I've just sensed, I felt," but you've got to prove that.
Yeah.
And I think this is why people use a lot of equipment, because if somebody's watching you, they've got to see something or hear something to think, "Oh, there's something there."
Yeah.
Because I could sit here and go, "Oh, there's I can feel something in that corner." There's somebody watches and go, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah, you know, because you can't prove it.
You can't prove it, but only you know what you can. You know, unless something happens in the room and everybody hears it, and then. But no,
yeah, I totally agree. I think the more you do the paranormal, the more you open yourself to tune into these things. Like, I know when I've been on investigations, I can walk into a certain room and go, bang, there's something in here just by the heavy presence or just feeling it yourself. You're like, yeah, this is a room I want to come back to because I feel like there's something here. But yeah, and also going back to apps, like you got some of these bigger teams or ones that say, like, I don't use apps. I've tried them. Don't get me wrong. And if I've seen something on there that may coincide with the building, then all right, I'll look into it. But these like word generators and stuff like that, I think they can just shout out a load of spat at you. Yeah. But then you got these big teams that, they belittle these little teams and they make things and they say, oh, you're using apps, using this. Now they're forgetting everything that they use for an ITC aspect is some sort of app technology.
Yeah.
So everything they use is an app anyway.
Everything. Yeah.
So it's a case of like when people have got these word generator, it's an ITC, it's an app. And I think they forget that and don't realize about you're using an app. Just because it's on your phone doesn't mean because you're using a different piece of equipment that's not on your phone, it's not an app. Yeah. It is.
Yeah. We've just invested in some spirit boxes, aren't we, to move away from apps? But that's exactly the same because it's radio signals. You know what I mean? It is basically radio waves. So it's probably harder to manipulate. Go on, my favourite word. You know what I mean? With some, you can program words in. I know there's a quite a big team that put. They went to a place where we used to go, and this says it was a railway cottage, and they asked something out, where are we? And it went cottage. And then behind camera, you can never say, oh God, I thought to put railway cottage in. So obviously they programmed it to say railway cottage when it came out. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like I say, I think the problem was just trust. It's trusting people, trusting in your team. And it's very, we've had team members come and go, and that's part of life. But at the minute, I think the team that we've got, apart from, I don't know if you use the media, we would like a good medium to come just to help out. Because sometimes you're there and you can pick up on something, but you can't. We're a medium. We had somebody called Claire Powell that came up from Worcestershire the other weekend up to shop.
Really, really good.
All she come with a pen and paper. And what a night we had. And she didn't know anything. She didn't know where she was going or anything. I just went, everything was spot on there. And I don't think she was out with, but the most important thing she was spot on with. Yeah. And all she got was a pen and paper. And I thought, wow, now, you know what I mean? Why can't you live up Chesterfield so we can, but I think that's the only thing missing from our team now is like,
it's just got that extra bit.
Just that extra bit, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, if you get somebody that is really good, like, there's some really talented people out there. Like I'm good friends with a woman called Michelle, and she's part of New Dawn Paranormal's team, but she's doing her own thing as well. And before we go to investigations, I've been on a few with them. She'll draw something of that building before she's even been. And sometimes she won't even go, and she'll give it to the team members, and it'll be spot on. It'll be.
Adrian does that in our team. Adrian does that in our team. He went. We were going up to factories. This is where we're going tonight. I mean, he didn't know, and it was the factory we go, and it was spot on. The drawing, the plan was absolutely spot on, and he didn't even know where we were going. And it's like, wow, you know what I mean? It's just another side of paranormal, isn't it? It's all different sides to it. It's just so amazing.
Yeah,
like amazing.
I've always really been skeptical of mediums, but then there was one. We were in Tattenhall Park. Don't know if you've heard of it, Tattenhall Hall. Sorry, it's towards Lyme up that way. And there was this woman there. She used to come all the time when we used to do events. She was sitting there, and do you know when you? It's bad to say, but do you know when you look at somebody and think, nah, you know what I mean? She's just talking a load of rubbish. So anyway, I was goading in this place now, because there's a spirit there that you have to really agitate to get communication from. And she was sitting next to me, and I swear to God, it was so funny. She was sitting next to me. She went, "He's not happy with you." And I went, "What?" She went, "He's not happy with you. He's angry." I said, "Really?" She went, "Yeah, go on. Ask him. I dare you." I went, "What?" So I asked him. I went, "Are you angry with me?" I'm no word of a lie. Some of the equipment we're using just went bang everywhere, off in this room, footsteps. And I was like, wow, okay, fair enough. Like, you know, you just kind of changed my aspect of my mindset of mediumship. Like, but no, it's mad.
It's like it's just trusting people, isn't it? And
yeah, you have to trust your team members. Like, there's only me. You know, we used to be part of the Haunted Hunts.
All right,
we left them, and then that's when we set up. It was just Charlie and Rock's Paranormal, but then now we've added Katie to the team, who's one of our really good friends. We changed it to Midnight Paranormal because it was only fair that we got more in. But I like the small group that we've got. I know, you know, Roxanne and Katie are very level-headed as well, and they love investigating, but they've got a really good, like, in-depth technique of making sure everything's calm and running nights. But yeah, it's spot on, like, and that's why I think smaller groups work better.
Yeah, like it's only mainly me and you go at it, because like Adrian, he's got his own business. Luke, he's got other things going off. He does martial arts tournaments, so he comes when he can. So mainly it is like just myself and Ben. Sometimes it can be a bit dangerous, should I say? Not the spirit side of it, the
other side of it.
We've had a few things where, you know what I mean, and like we'll just pack up and just move away. You know what I mean? Because you do. But I think when there's two of you, you're more concentrating as well, and you're more aware as well of things, aren't you? Noises and
it's because you know you're by yourself.
You're by yourself. You're looking out for stuff,
constantly on.
Yeah, you're more vigilant into your surroundings, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, guys, on that note, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you, and I can see that you two are very, very passionate about the paranormal. Just for the guys that are watching this, where can they find you?
Go on, Ben, because I get mixed up all the time.
It says the complete wrong details. Mystic UK, Paranormal Investigators. You can find us on YouTube. We're on Facebook. It's a private group.
Anybody can come and join.
And that's...
Like I said, we don't do lives on Facebook now, but we do put stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're mainly on YouTube.
There is things on there to watch as well.
There's loads of stuff on there to watch.
But mostly on YouTube, Mystic UK Paranormal Investigators.
Yep. That's great.
Good.
Thank you very much for having us. We've not done a podcast in years. So it's really nice to talk to somebody as well. You know what I mean? Who's just passionate. And
honestly, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been a privilege to talk to you. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and speak to me. If you just hang on a minute, and I'll keep you in the chat in the room in a minute. I'll just end the recording. All right. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, so bye. Bye.